Okay, so we are going to also talk about a vampire facial today, and I think a lot of patients ask me the question, what is a vampire facial? What does it include? And there's other vampire procedures out there, like vampire facelift. So we'll talk a little bit about the difference between those two and what the benefits are. A vampire facial is a combination of microneedling, which is a procedure that we numb the face and use a pen, a special pen that has needles at the edge of it, and it actually just needles the face around the eyes. You can do the neck, you can do the chest, and what it does is it creates a little bit of a low-grade inflammation, and that helps. That low-grade inflammation and injury creates new collagen. It helps shrink the pores, take off some of those dead skin layers, and just refresh the skin. The benefit of doing a vampire facial as opposed to microneedling by itself is now you're adding the PRP, and that's what makes it the vampire facial. So adding the platelet-rich plasma topically, and a lot of times what we do is we use the platelet-rich plasma to glide the pen along the skin and get those growth factors in that serum under the skin, and then we also layer it again at the end with another layer of PRP. And basically what PRP is platelet-rich plasma. We use actually a very good system in our office, guaranteed to have at least 5 times platelet count. And what we do is we draw the blood, we spin it, so we want you to come in a little hydrated. We spin the blood, we separate the red blood cells from the serum, which is what you usually see as a yellow liquid, and then we take that serum and we spin it again. And what happens is all the platelets are driven to the bottom of the container. So what you have now is platelets at the bottom and then a bunch of serum at the top, which we call platelet poor plasma. We remove a certain amount of platelet poor plasma and we leave about 10 cc's of platelet poor plasma with the platelets at the bottom, and then we mix up those platelets back into that serum, and that's what makes it a platelet-rich plasma. So we enriched that small volume with the platelets that are sitting at the bottom of the container. Once we do that, then we draw it up into a syringe and we can use it however we want. Vampire facelift, basically you can do the microneedling with it. However, the difference is, in this case, we're going to be injecting the platelet-rich plasma under the skin, and that does give you a little bit of a better penetration. You can also focus on more problem areas. So if you want to concentrate more platelet-rich plasma under the eyes to help correct some volume loss, if you want to do nasolabial folds, marionette lines, pretty much anywhere where you think you need to improve, you can inject the platelet-rich plasma directly into those areas. With that procedure, patients tend to have a little bit more swelling after the procedure for about 2 or 3 days, because that inflammatory cascade, your body is responding to a release of growth factors. It's responding to what it thinks is a tissue injury, and that's how it comes in and rebuilds the skin cells, the collagen cells, the blood vessels, and so forth. Whichever area you are injecting it into, it's going to help migrate stem cells into the area and repair any damage in the tissue as well. So you're repairing bad tissue and you're creating new tissue at the same time. The other thing that sometimes we consider part of the vampire facelift is we do incorporate some fillers and Botox to kind of give a full, liquid facelift. And adding that vampire is just adding the platelet-rich plasma. If you're doing facials, I usually recommend to do 2 or 3, treatments about 4 to 6 weeks apart, and then just come back once a year or once every 18 months to do your little maintenance treatment. If you're doing the full liquid facelift, then you probably, can come back just for PRP injections, but you don't necessarily need, the fillers again in a month or so. Botox obviously lasts 4 months, and then the fillers anywhere between 6 to 12 months if you need a little bit of correction. But that's the basics of vampire facial and vampire facelift.